I get to talk to you about, it's a crazy topic when I got it. It's what makes the Alliance great and what makes me great. And when I think about that topic, I think back when I think of the Alliance, I think of Andy and what makes Andy great. And then I think of me and I'm like, what makes me great? The thing I think that makes me great is the constant quest of being great. And not that, because I don't think I'm great. I read a book a couple years ago called Relentless. And in that book, it talks about 3 levels of people. There's coolers, closers, and cleaners. And when I read that book, all I could think about is Andy Albright's the ultimate cleaner in my life. And it's the ultimate person that goes out there and that pursues greatness and has achieved greatness. And it's one of those things where I'm in a quest with myself to always try to become great like Andy. So when I think of greatness, it basically falls into behaviors and choices that you have. So it's as simply as if you don't feel you're doing great things today, all you have to do is change your choices right now, and you can be great right now. And changing the things that you want to do. And I watch Andy with the way he does choices and makes different choices of what he does. Because when I look at Andy, I look at a great man that makes great choices on a daily basis. And when he makes the choices as a cleaner, he thinks of these things and thinks through the choices that he's going to make himself great choices to be smart. And the things he's taught me to make great choices and things to look at. So some of the things I looked at like great people or great cleaners that they do is one is they're stable with their emotions. Andy's the ultimate stable guy. I remember when it was probably about a year ago when the coronavirus was starting to come out and people were scared and not going what's going on. And Andy does a conference call with us and just stabilizes the entire company. And just stabilizes us and just said, let's not panic. We got a job to do. And he just stabilized it and just led that way. And you think of people, just think of people in your life that have that emotional roller coasters, those emotional up and down. I always think it's funny that, you have the trials and the uncontrolled, you look at people that think of everything is like important. Like everything is like, I got to do this. And you look at Andy, he only worries about the things that he can control. So the uncontrollables and like the stuff that's outside of his control, he's like, and moves on. He doesn't worry about the things that he can't control. And when he does that, it keeps him stable. You ever see people that are bothered by just about everything? Like you're like, how do you trigger that? Like, how do you trigger that person? Just say anything. And they flip out. Get the idea that where you do things where you are in the aspect like Andy, where it's like when something happens outside of your control, it's just, okay, and move on. Can't do anything about it. Can't change anything. Just move on. And it's knowing the things to do that. And when I watch Andy do that, he rebounds from things faster. So he doesn't get held down. He doesn't worry about stuff. He doesn't fall captive to the things that are uncontrollable. The second thing that I see great people do is they stay grateful for what they do. This is a tough one for me. I don't know if it's tough for anyone else, but because I just forget stuff that I'm grateful for. Because one of the things I think of, I'm always chasing something. So when I achieve something, in my mind, most of the times it's just like, check, that's done, let's go to the next. And it's not grateful as the trials and stuff to do. So I try to think of like blissful dissatisfaction, because I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful that I won in the game cash flow last night. Yeah, can anyone else say that? I'm grateful for that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for those aspects, but it's knowing that you do that and always know, and you wake up grateful. So I don't know how much you guys know about the universe, but just about every place else but Earth sucks. So you can be grateful that I live in Earth. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've seen the pictures from Mars. I was like, I don't want to go there. And that's close. Imagine what the further away places are like. You know what I mean? Heck no. Be grateful. Be grateful you live on Earth. So The third thing is staying hungry, and staying hungry to what it is. I watch Andy, and I think people think he was born hungry to what he does, but he makes choices to be that way. Terry talked about it earlier when Andy's hungry in the aspects that he's achieved so much for his grandkids, but he hasn't done it for our kids and our grandkids. That's why he's still hungry. He has that desire to do it, the desire to always get better. And you think back to the people, you just think of someone that's like broke and they live at home and you can't get them up out of bed. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, when I get some motivation, I'll go do it. It's you got to go make the choices to do it now, because I'm telling you, the more money you make, the more distractions you're going to have. Amen. I have a membership to a 15-acre pool. 15-acre pool. It's a distraction. And I can go sit there every day, but I don't, because I want to have the Gulf of Mexico in my backyard like Andy Albright does. I want to have a hunting cabin, and it feels weird even calling it a cabin, because it's like one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in North Carolina. It's having those things, but those are distractions to him. I'm sure he would love to be sitting on the beach with Jane. I'm sure he would love to be at the cabin shooting skeet, doing those kind of things, but they're distractions. And the more you have, the more you got to do. So you got to, if you don't have much now, the distractions you have now, you're never going to have more, because you got to get past these easy distractions when the bigger ones come. So always getting better and getting stuff and just getting up and staying humble about what you have. Another thing they do is they stay in touch with reality. When it's going really good, they know it's not as good as it looks. And when it's going really bad, it's not as bad as it looks. So with sports analogies, it's kind of like an NFL quarterback. So when a team's losing, that quarterback is the worst player in the world. Like, he's terrible. And it's all his fault. And then when they're winning, this guy's amazing. You know what I mean? I love that Tom Brady just won another championship here in Tampa, but I think some of the other guys on that field had something to do with it too. You know what I mean? And there's a reason why Brady decided to come play at Tampa and didn't to go play somewhere else, like Jacksonville. You know what I mean? Brady's great, but he knew there wasn't great players with him in Jacksonville. That's why he came to Tampa. It's knowing that stuff, but it's staying humble and just knowing the ability of staying in touch with your reality to do things and putting people around you to help you stay humble. And you watch Andy, he has mentors and people that he plugs into that keeps him in touch with reality and keeps him in that aspects where he knows his reality, and he has those people in there. The sixth one is is the influences, having influences in your life. Great people have mentors and coaches in their life. Now, one thing to watch out for, it's great to have mentors and coaches in your life, but great people have a very small circle of mentors in their life. So you think of broke people, their mentors are usually their broke spouse, their broke parents, the internet, Twitter. Hey, I got a question on this. Anyone got any advice? Not good influences. Find influences or coaches that you can put yourself with and follow. In this business, you have great coaches. And the reason I know that, because you all have Andy Albright at some point. And there's going to be times that there's going to be people in this business that may have brought you in, and they may not be great influences and coaches. Go around them and go up through there and do stuff. Now, another thing is when you look at great influences or having people in there, you ever see there's people out there that expect perfection. They want grace about the way they are, but they expect perfection out of you. We have great leaders here in the Alliance, but don't expect perfection out of them just because they're great leaders. Give grace. I have a friend, a great guy, that he married this one girl. It was a great relationship. It was a good, down-to-earth guy and a psychopath. And she would come around and say, "I'm God's gift to this." you have to accept me how I am, but him we have to work on. She wanted grace for the way she was, but wanted to change him immediately. That relationship did not work out well, just so you know. Yeah, amazing, right? It's crazy. Crazy for those things. But just have grace towards your leaders and stay in touch with the reality of what you have. The seventh one is stay loyal. Loyalty, guys, is one of those things that it's amazing when you look out there, the disloyalty. And the loyalty of what Andy's looking for is someone that's not, it's not that you just have been here for time. That's not loyalty. Loyalty is doing the stuff that we do, okay? So if you think in sports analogies as well, just because a guy's been on the team for a long number of years, doesn't mean he's loyal. If he's not running the plays that are called, that's not loyalty. If he's not showing up at practice on time, that's not loyalty. If he's not doing the things that are expected to do, that's not loyalty. Just showing up is important, but it's not the only thing to do. So when you think of being loyal to the team that you have, doing the things that you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to do 40-40, go out there and do 40-40. And if you fall short, go out there and give everything you got to do it. In the aspects of what you're saying, be loyal to the system. Be loyal to what it is. Andy does so much for me and my family, and I always want to thank him for it. And the greatest thanking that you can ever give back to anybody in this business is to grow. That's the thankful enough. Just grow. You can say, gifts are nice, flowers are great, brownies are better, all these kind of things that you can send to people, but growing is the ultimate thing, because what he's pouring into us is to wanting us to grow. And the way to pay him back that stuff and being loyal to Andy for what he's doing for us and chasing the greatness what he has set the pace for is to go out there and grow and continue to do things. And the eighth one is live life to leave people better than you found them. And that's Andy's ultimate thing. I've never met anyone like an Andy Albright that just goes out there to leave people better than he found them. And in the aspects of all the things, I think of just all the life lessons that he's taught me to make me a better man and make me a better person. But he also pours into my daughters and makes them better as well. He's always looking to make people better and help them grow faster and move further apart. And that's what makes people great. That's what makes the Alliance great. That's what makes Andy Albright great, is he continues to do these things as a leader and continues to pour back in and bring people to other levels that they just don't think they could ever achieve, because he's always pouring in and he's always trying to help grow people to take them to other spots. Guys, I hope you just know that how great of a leader that we do have. In the book, he is the ultimate cleaner. When I read that book, they consider Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant as cleaners in that book. He's the ultimate cleaner when I read that book. He's exactly in line of greatness of what those guys do. So let's give it back to him. Let's pay it back to him by all going out there and just growing. Coming out of this meeting and taking it to a growth and going to another level to do that.